Hello, everybody. Welcome to Premier League predictions. It's round 38, Mikey. It's the last one of the season, which is great news for me because I absolutely suck at this, and you hammered me again last week. I thought we were on the beach, Mikey, and you've lulled me in and pulled out a bit of a stellar week there with 3 bob-ons: Everton 2, Southampton 0, West Ham 1, Forest 2, Man City 3, Bournemouth 1. You won that one 12-3, Mikey. It's such an 18-9. I am Ipswich in this sense of I've known I've been down and defeated for many, many weeks. But a very good performance from you last week to set up a complete dead rubber in round 38.
Yeah, I don't know where that one came from, Ben. I feel like I'm on the beach with this, but yeah, I managed to pick a couple out there. There was a lot of games last week that had something riding on them. There wasn't really any dead rubbers. Like even Leicester Ipswich had the Jamie Vardy narrative. Everton Southampton had the Goodbye Goodison narrative. So maybe results were a little bit easier to predict because of those. But yeah, I actually thought it was probably the best Premier League match week we've had for quite some time.
And hopefully you saw our shorts man, Jake, took great delight in clipping us out saying, if you got any money, going back, Jamie Vardy, anytime goal scorer. And of course, that indeed. There's a one good prediction I made last round. We want to hear your good predictions and your bad predictions down there in the comments. Usual deal here. You can copy and paste all the fixtures from the description. Get your predictions in for the last time this season. You'll miss us when we're gone, so get involved now. Give yourself 1 point for a correct outcome, home, away or draw, 3 points for a correct scoreline, 4 points for a bonus, 5 or more goals. And if you're going to play bonus points, round 38 is the time to do it. Give me goals for the last round. Mikey, start us off. Bournemouth versus Leicester. Will you be pleased to not have to predict Bournemouth for a couple of months?
Yeah, they have given me 1 or 2 headaches, Bournemouth. But yeah, they've lost their last 2, but they haven't lost 3 in a row in the league since last May, Ben. So they finished last season with a bit of a whimper. But yeah, I think Bournemouth fans will eventually reflect on this as a really, really positive season for the football club. They're in the new training ground now. They've done brilliantly. I think this is the highest. In fact, I know it's the highest ever points total in the Premier League, but there'll be a little bit of a feeling of what if, because they were pretty close to getting into Europe at one point. They'll be waving goodbye to a couple of their star players, though. Dean Howson is going to Real Madrid. Who'd have thought AFC Bournemouth selling players to Real Madrid? Just a fantastic buy Howson was, and he's really stepped up in the Premier League this season, one of the best centre-backs in the league. They might be saying goodbye to Kirkes as well, quite an exciting left-back. Maybe Semenyo, yeah. But I'd quite like to see him stay there. Even a draw might be enough to get them in the top half, Ben, but I'm expecting them to win. Leicester, great day for them last Sunday, saying goodbye to Jamie Vardy with that win against Ipswich, but they're not a good side. So I see Bournemouth winning this one fairly comfortably, Ben. 3-1 to the Cherries.
Okay, I might even raise you on that one, Mikey, because I a disciple of the great Harry from Bath from the Blue Monday podcast. He used to talk about chaos, and Everton have been charged this week, and Ruud van Nistelrooy is apparently not going to be retained, and so immediately after the final
Leicester,
whistle,
Leicester, you said Everton charged.
Yeah. Sorry, but Everton got charged last season, didn't they? Or the season before. But Leicester, I think it's going to be chaotic, and I think it might be one of those awkward. Can we see you in the office straight after the game, Rude type deals, which is not going to work. So I'm going to go for a 4-1 then. I'll play my first bonus point of the day, Mikey, and again, Leicester fans, like a collection of teams, really, are just going to want this done. And really, they're going to want lots of off-pitch stuff sorted out, because they may finish 18th and then maybe given a points deduction and not finish 18th, which obviously helps out my club to the tune of 3.8 million quid or whatever it is. But we shall see what transpires in terms of jurisdiction and where points deductions are meted. And it might even be that they get 2, Mikey, that there's one Premier League and then the EFL are going to be waiting as soon as we know all about the transition of share of where you actually are. comes in. Right, Fulham versus Man City. Man City did themselves massive favour by winning in midweek, which you predicted correctly. Who was that against? It was against Bournemouth, wasn't it, with that brilliant Marmoush goal. So they're pretty certain to qualify for the Champions League, although I'm about to predict that they're going to win here and definitely qualify for the Champions League. And basically, we always have this, Mikey, when you have a mini league on the last day, the team at the top basically needs everything to go wrong. Yep. Unless you get really good head-to-heads. And the team at the bottom basically needs everything to go right. So I'm going to back Man City to win at Fulham. Will Rodri, is he just going to come off the bench a load now? I doubt he's going to start at all for a few months, isn't he? But he's back. So I'll go...
But just to throw a little fly in the ointment there, City are in the Club World Cup. So... they might be looking to get minutes in the legs of Rodri, because that, I know it might not sound like a big deal, but the money on offer is just extraordinary. Yeah. So I think there's a chance that Rodri has probably spent quite a lot of time sunning himself this season. So he might be seen as quite an important player in the Club World Cup.
Yeah, fair comment. I'll go 2-1 Man City and another year of Champions League, and maybe the return of Rodri. Means the return of the title to Man City next season. But we can talk about that in August. Fulham Man City, Mikey.
Yeah, that's a scribble for me. I'm going to change mine to 3-1. A good win for Fulham last week at Brentford, wasn't it? Harry Wilson with an incredible late winner in that game. He was a big miss. I mentioned his name a few times this season as someone that was banging on the door on the periphery of the starting 11, and then he got in and was doing well, but he got injured at the wrong time, and Fulham lost that little bit of depth. But yeah, as for City, a bad season, but plenty of young talent. You wouldn't be surprised if they go on and win the Premier League at a canter next season. And also, they've won their last 17 matches against Fulham. 17 wins in a row against Fulham.
Ipswich versus West Ham, Mikey. It's nearly over.
Yeah, it's nearly over. Not much on offer here, Ben. The winner of this game wins Colchester. That's been decided. Miserable season for Town, compounded last week at Leicester. We'd like to finish 18th off our own backs, wouldn't we? And it's going to be farewell to a few players that we're quite fond of. Liam Delap being the most certain. I'm not sure if Julio and Cisse will play, but it might be the last time we see the likes of Jens Kajusti. Leif Davis is being linked with Nottingham Forest. I don't know if that will happen, but it might be an emotional afternoon.
Makes a lot of sense, that deal, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Aaron Cresswell, on the other hand, he did get a start last week, so maybe he doesn't play in this one. But it would be quite nice symmetry for him to finish his West Ham career at Portman Road. He was a fantastic left back for us, wasn't he? And it could be Jared Bowen's last game in a West Ham shirt. The Hammers fans will definitely hope not. What a fantastic player. No. He somehow managed to have a decent season despite all of West Ham's troubles. The Hammers can finish as high as 14th and as low as 17th. So this draw that I'm going to predict, Ipswich 1, West Ham 1, isn't going to do them too many favours. And I don't think either set of fans will walk away too pleased after that.
Yeah, this really is the no one cares derby. I was on Hammers chat yesterday, and they said, "Do you want a score prediction?" Both me and the West Ham guy were like, who cares? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make any difference to anything massively, does it? You're right about the 18th, but the Leicester deduction might kind of see to that in the long term. How quickly that's done, or in terms of reward payments, I don't know. It's so boring talking about all this money stuff, but you have to, don't you? Well, I'd love to see Ipswich win, so we get a Premier League win to finish with. So I'll go complete head over heart, and I'll go for Ipswich to win 2-1. Bowen always scores against Ipswich. Well, he scores against most teams, doesn't he? But so he'll score, but Ipswich I don't know where they're going to get 2 goals from. But like you say, it'd be nice for Liam Delap to score and get subbed off, and then have a good ovation for the greatest single season at Ipswich Town since Martin Waghorn. How about that? Let's move this one on. Did I say 2-1? I think I did. Right, Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. And I suppose we can just co-opt this into a chat about Palace winning the FA Cup, which was Absolutely incredible. Liverpool are a bit rubbish at the moment, aren't they? They are proper on the beach. 1 point in the last three, and they lost at Brighton, didn't they, on Monday night? Could you predict a Palace win? You see, there's no consequence to this because it's the last show of the season, so I'm just going to do it. I don't care. Yeah, Liverpool 1, Palace 2. Go on, it's hilarious.
Yeah, I can see it happening, Ben, because I think Liverpool are going to be experimenting. They're going to be playing these young players. Even Van Dijk was on the bench against Brighton, whereas Palace rested a lot of their best players for most of the game against Wolves on Tuesday night. And Palace ended last season so strongly. They thrashed Aston Villa. And it reminded me of that game against Wolves where it's like Glasner just goes, you know what I said about defending and just being really tight and hitting teams in the counter, just attack tonight. And that's what they did. They were really fun to watch in that game. They're riding the crest of a wave, so I can definitely see them scoring. But Mo Salah will want to finish this incredible season on a high. He's got that goal contribution record. I don't know. Is this a thing that players worry about?
Well,
I'm not sure.
It's silly as well because if it's Shearer and Cole, they clearly played 42 games in their seasons as well, didn't they? So is that right?
Yeah, I don't know about this one, but
not for me,
you don't know. I don't know what's going on in Mo Salah's mind. He probably does really want another goal. He'll be picking up the golden boot at the end of the game, whatever happens. But yeah, I see this one being an entertaining 2-2 draw.
Lovely stuff. Right, this one's important. Manchester United versus Aston Villa because, and it's quite annoying that it comes before Forest Chelsea on our running order here, but Aston Villa could have a big say in Nottingham Forest, which we've been following all season, either getting in or not getting in to the Champions League. So, all the Forest fans are about to hope that you predict that Villa don't beat Manchester United, who are terrible.
They're really bad, Ben. I'm sorry, Forest fans. I was willing you on to get into the Champions League this year. But I also think Aston Villa deserve it, and I think they're going to get the job done at Old Trafford. I think this is a good fixture for them. United would have spent a lot of emotional energy on Wednesday night, and you think, oh, maybe they can get a reaction, but where are the goals coming from? And they're still gonna make mistakes. It's quite just not good vibes there at all at the moment. Whereas Villa, eyes on the prize, they've picked up big results in recent weeks when they've needed to. So I'm backing them to do that again here with a 2-1 win at Old Trafford.
These last day of the season things, Mikey, they tend to either be very tight. You say 2-1?
Yeah.
They tend to be very tight, or the team with a lot to play for against the team with 0 to play for goes 2 goals up in the first half. Do you know what I mean? And it's done. And I was speaking about this with Matt SB the other day on the show we were doing, and all it takes in the Premier League is one margin to not be a thing for a team, and it can make all the difference. And I do think on final day it is a thing. So again, love Nuno, love what Forest have done, but how can I not predict Villa to go and win at Old Trafford on the last day to sort themselves out Champions League? Look, we've got to talk about Newcastle Everton next, but that might not work too well for Forest fans either. But yeah, I don't see Villa dropping points. I can see them getting 2 goals up and winning 2-0, Mikey. So yeah, apologies, Forest fans. I so hope I'm wrong. But you can see where this is going, because off we go to Newcastle Everton. And unfortunately, again for the Forest fans, Everton kind of did their end of term, get your shirt signed, go to the park and drink White Lightning last week, didn't they? With the Goodison.
Probably quite literally in some cases.
There's no way to talk about your favourite goalkeeper, Mikey. Moving on, allegedly. So I don't think this is good for Forest. I think it's really good for Newcastle. We're expecting Isak, who didn't appear last week, to probably appear and therefore score. this week. So I've got to predict a Newcastle win here. Which is very problematic for Forest. It's first world problems for Forest, isn't it? They've had a great season, but I don't think the fixtures are good for them in terms of soft opponents. For the teams they're up against, Newcastle, I like them. I'm going to go 3-0, which is strange to go against the David Moyes team, but I just think everything was pointed at last week.
Okay, I'm going to have to... That's another scribble for me. I also fancy Newcastle at home. I'm going to change it to 3-1. Newcastle should have wrapped up the Champions League qualification last week at Arsenal. It's not like their level dropped at all. They should have been out of sight by half-time, and then a really good Declan Rice goal changed the game there. There is jeopardy here, but there'll be a really good atmosphere. And as we say, Everton coming off the back of all of that goodness and emotion, I can't see them getting anything out of this game. So, yeah, I'll change mine to Newcastle 3, Everton 1.
Forest Chelsea, probably the most frustrating thing for Forest fans now is that we could get a situation where everybody wins, couldn't we? And Forest miss out. What do you think then? Forest Chelsea. Chelsea don't travel well. Forest very good at home. That's gonna and Chelsea have got the hardest game here, haven't they?
They have, yeah. And you say, everyone wins, but Chelsea don't win in this scenario.
No, that's true.
Forest 2, Chelsea 1, and maybe at some stage in the afternoon, Forest have a Champions League place in their hands. But yeah, possibly this is heart over head. But I just look at Forest at home. I know they've had some iffy results recently, but I back Nuno to set them up to get the win in this game. If only they'd have held on. To win against Leicester the other week, that was the killer, really. But it's still on, isn't it? Chelsea found a way to beat Manchester United, but they're missing attackers, and it just makes it so much harder for the number 10s in behind them. This could be, if this goes this way, it could be Morgan Gibbs-White's last game for Nottingham Forest. But I don't think there'll be any waving to the fans or anything like that, because everything's going to be up in the air, I think, for Forest. But if they do win, at least they can go in, just end the season on a high. And then once they've had a couple of beers in the pub, the players and the fans will be like, we're playing in the Europa League next season, and they'll have a decent chance of getting a long way in that competition, because let's face it, they're a much better side than Spurs and Manchester United have been this season.
Yeah, right. So 2-1 for you, Mikey, yeah?
2-1 Forest, yeah.
So I'll take Forest at the 1-0 then, which, look, we've both gone... I mean, let's move on from the predictions. So we've both gone for all of the sides other than Chelsea there to win. So that would leave Forest 68. Obviously, Chelsea missing out on 66, but they'd still be in Europe, obviously, wouldn't they? And then Villa 69, Newcastle 69, Man City 71. Would you agree the best chance of Forest getting kind of in and up there would be Man United drawing against Villa? That seems to be more plausible than Everton drawing against Newcastle.
Yeah, definitely. And if you think, if the accumulation of the two things that could happen gives Forest a chance if they look after their own business, because there's not a great chance of Everton getting something at Newcastle, but if it's Everton getting something at Newcastle or Villa dropping points at Manchester United, the chance increases somewhat, doesn't it? That you maybe give them a 35%. Oh, and it is a thing on final day. 30. Yeah. The
dissemination of information does mess with players. I know for a fact it does.
But you want to have at least two matches where a team can do you a favour, right? Don't you? Rather than just relying on one team.
No, especially when that team's Man United this season, is it? So look, we'll both back Forest. We've gone for everyone to win. So like Chelsea 7th, Forest 6th, Villa 5th, Newcastle 4th, Man City 3rd. But let us know. And I did a bit of a deep dive with Matt on this one as well. So go and comment on that video indeed. Southampton versus Arsenal could be a bit gnarly, couldn't it? Is there going to be loads of goals in this one? Or are Arsenal just going to pack up and get ready to, in the words of Steven Gerrard, go again next year? probably. I will go 3-1 to Arsenal.
Okay, I'm adding a goal to that. Southampton, one of the worst ever Premier League teams, and Arsenal they need a point to make sure of the top two. Havertz is back. They'll want to end this season on a high. They're going to have way too much for Southampton with their press, but they're missing a couple of players. Saliba's out. But yeah, I could see Saka getting a couple of goals in this game and Arsenal winning by a few goals. So that's why I've gone for my classic 4-1.
It is a classic, but it's a classic for a reason. Not what am I saying? Forest. Spurs versus Brighton. Champions League Spurs. How about that?
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to this one, Ben, just because I want to see what the state of the pitch is like. So all those Spurs fans that ran on the pitch after watching the Europa League final in the stadium the other night.
I haven't seen this.
Yeah, because it was pretty packed out. It looked like a great atmosphere. I don't think beanbags usually work, but this one actually looked really good. And yeah, Spurs fans were all over the pitch after the game and ripping up grass and all of that stuff. But yeah, I wrote these notes pre-Europa League final, and I've put, is Ange still there? And he's very much still there, and it kind of feels like he might still be there next season now. He's going to have to rest players and rotate a little bit. I think a few of the youngsters are going to get a game here. Brighton will want to make sure of a top 8 finish and just hope that things go their way elsewhere. It's quite a difficult one to work out how they can get into Europe, but it isn't impossible. It's been rocky at times under Hertzler, but I think they're onto something good with him, and I don't think they're going to lose too many players this summer, and their recruitment's usually pretty good. So yeah, I think Brighton are very much on the up, and I think they will end the season on a high with a 2-1 win here. But I don't think Spurs fans will care too much because they're going to get their eyes on that famous UEFA Cup trophy.
Yeah, I think it could be an away win and just lots of fun, and they're just going to chant things about Arsenal the whole game. They just have a lovely old time, the Spurs fans. So yeah, that's a scribble. So I'll take a 3-1 to Brighton, and God, I remember a game between Ipswich and it was it MK Dons or was it? It was old Wimbledon before it turned into MK Dons on the final day of the season.
5-1.
It's 5-1, and it just got very silly. And literally, Neil Shipley and David Connolly, who you may laugh at, but at second tier level were absolute bagsmen, had a field day in that one, and scored with every single penalty box entrance they had. And it all got a bit silly, and everyone's kind of cheering opponents' goals. And I wonder whether that might happen at Spurs. And no, I don't.
Can I just say, we don't need any comments about what Neil Shipley's up to now.
Well, why?
No.
He's just invited it, isn't it? It's like a red rag to a bull, Mikey, isn't it? Every Neil Shipley mentioned these days. I think Ange will be given his marching orders after this one. I've just got I just got a feeling that that's going to be the way that one goes, which works quite well for him. He leaves a hero. They'll probably, I don't know what his contract says. I haven't read it, but I assume they'll pay up the final year, and off he goes and gets another job. Wolves versus Brentford. I mean, what a great one to finish out, because we could get a ridiculous amount of goals in this game, couldn't we? So let's end the season. I don't think I've had a 4-4 all season, just to be utterly ridiculous. Has there been a 4-4 in the Premier League this season, Mikey?
Can't think of one off the.
If there had been one, you would remember it, wouldn't you? Well, let us know in the comments if we're missing one there. Wolves 4, Brentford 4, just as a fun sign off. How about that?
Yeah, I could see that happening, but because
no, you couldn't.
Pereira was because it's Brentford, Ben. Just add on another goal to most of their wins this season. Pereira was so furious with the way Wolves played at Palace. I'm expecting a good performance from them, and maybe quite a more defensive one than usual. It's going to be Mateus Cunha's farewell appearance. He, just by sticking around for an extra few months, made a huge difference to Wolves under Pereira. Brentford can still finish 8th, and a win would guarantee a top half finish. A fantastic campaign for them. But I think maybe Palace winning the FA Cup last week and took the wind out of their sails a little bit going into Sunday's game against Fulham. I think they might have won that game had top 8 meant something different for them. That being said, though, I think Wolves are going to win this game. Even though I said it was going to be tight, tighter at the back for Wolves, I'm still going to go for Brentford to score 2, but lose again. So I'm going Wolves 3, Brentford 2.
It's a classic. And it's a classic to finish our season. Mikey, thank you so much for doing these each and every week. It's been really, really good fun. Have one more go, you lot, in the comments. Fixtures in the description. Give yourself 1 point for a correct outcome, home away or draw. Give yourself 3 points for a correct scoreline. I'm not even going to read out all the bonus points because there's too many attempts from Mikey and myself this week. So 5 or more goals wins you a bonus point. Say your thank yous and farewells for the season to me and Mikey. We've really, really enjoyed the show. Last words from you, Mikey.
Yeah, this Premier League season didn't go the way I wanted it to in many respects, Ben. But it's been good fun doing these predictions. Apologies again to fans of Bournemouth and Brighton and all you clubs that have struggled to get right at any point. But it's been good fun, and yeah, thanks for everyone who's got involved in the comments.
Amazing stuff. Last one, and we will see you next season.